Cael, and I'm here with my dad, 5 minutes outside with Cael, and the topic today is the weekend of me racing.
Yep, you celebrated a national championship by taking a weekend off and going and doing 2 races. Tell us a little bit about what you did on Saturday. You went somewhere new. Tell us a little bit about it.
We went to the new Athens Hillclimb, which they have built a new hill, and the Pioneer Motorcycle Club organized it, and they did a real good job.
Yep, it's pretty neat seeing all our friends from the Pioneer Hillclimb Club in Waterford, Ohio, come in and help with this hill. And it wasn't exactly a new hill necessarily. It was new to us. They had a race back there 43 years ago, I believe. It's a long time ago.
19-something.
19-something. I guess when you're in the 2000s, that 19-something seems like a long time ago, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a long time ago, they used to have races here. They got a bulldozer out there, redid their hill, and now they're back to having races again. So you got to experience their first race, their inaugural race. Tell us a little bit about that race.
Well, I got first in the 65 and second in the 85. I got a good first start in the 65 when it was the hill was at its worst.
Yeah. Okay. What was the race in honor of?
Earl Bowlby.
Bowlby. Yep.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about him. You got to meet him. Pretty neat.
Yeah, he was a 10-time pro national champion, and him and Grandpa talked, and Grandpa was a national pro champion.
Yep. So Grandpa was a pro national champion back in 1980, a long time ago, and Earl Bowlby had won 10 pro national championships, and they got to race together, and this race was honoring Earl Bowlby. So let's look at the pictures that you have here with us, and we'll talk a little bit about those.
That's Callie.
Okay, that's Callie going up the hill. Your sister's raced as well. Tell us a little bit about the hill. What's different about this hill?
Well, it didn't have any breakers. It had a little dip.
Right. So it had a dip through it, a couple rocks you had to avoid, and it was short and didn't have any big jumps. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's go to the next picture.
That's me with Doug and Grandpa.
Yep. You had a little bit of help this weekend pitting for you. You had Doug Evans from up in Columbus, Ohio, who West Virginia boy, who came down to help you out, helps with all your races. He has some Harley background from the pro races, and came down and pit crewed for you with Grandpa. So made for a pretty easy Saturday for me. So talk a little bit about the next picture here.
That's Grandpa, my sisters, and me, and Earl Bowlby.
Bowlby. So yep, that's the gentleman the race was in honor of, Earl Bowlby, and there's again, he was a 10-time national pro champion. It was pretty neat to get to see Grandpa and him talk about their old racing days, which was a long time ago, 30, 40 years ago when they raced together. And as you said, it was pretty neat to see Grandpa, who was a pro national champion in 1980, talk about his races. All right, what'd you do on Sunday?
Well, we went back home and got my hill climb bikes out and put them in the camper, and then we went to Pleasant Valley MX at Chris Lawrence's house.
Yep.
And we had a GNCC hand scramble.
Yeah, they had a Works race. It's called a Works series, and tell us a little bit about what we're looking at with this picture.
The start, we had a dead start, so we had to start our bikes and then go. And
take off. Talk about the difference between when you do motocross and this. What's the differences?
Your bike's already started, and then there's no gate to drop.
Yep, so you're just in a field, everybody gets in a straight line in their class. How many classes were out on the course with you think?
6.
Yep, and they started by rows, which is kind of neat. The first row took off. I know you were, what was your first instinct when that first row took off?
I started up too.
Yeah, you started
your bike
everybody.
Up.
Yep, you started your bike up and tried to take off. So I had to stop you. So it's pretty different style of racing. What class did you race in? You're on your
65.
Yep, you raced the
Advanced.
65 advanced class. Okay, now go to the next picture. Talk about the course a little bit.
Well, that's one of the tougher hills.
Okay.
You didn't have much run at it, so you had to get a wide turn and then go up it. There were some logs, some fields that you could go fast in, potholes, streams.
Yep. And then how long did it take you to make a lap?
10 minutes probably.
little longer than that. You averaged about 18 minutes a lap. Yeah, so it was about a 3-mile course for you. It was all through the woods, through streams. So a different type of racing than what you're used to. We'll go to the last picture here. Talk a little bit about.
That's at the end, and you can see how muddy my bike is.
Yeah. So what do you think? You rode for 1 hour and 3 minutes to finish your race. So you rode a little over an hour straight. What do you think when you got to the end of it?
It wasn't that bad. You started out hard, and then in the middle relaxed, and then went hard again.
Okay. What do you think was the best part for you?
I don't know.
What part did you like the best? What was the most interesting?
Whenever you got to speed down through straightaways.
Okay, so when you got out of the tight woods and got the...
And the start.
The start, you like the start?
Yeah, because you could see kids going over the hill.
Yeah.
A few people up in the front were coming down that hill too fast, and it was slick, so they just slid down the first hump and then tried to turn, but went down
Didn't
over
make
the hill.
Turn, did they? Went down in the woods. So it was an interesting race, different than what you normally do. But you get to add another race style to your resume, I guess. You do motocross, arena cross, hill climb, and now
Hare scrambles.
some hare scramble type racing. Okay. Well, came away with a pretty good weekend. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, Grandpa.
Yep.
And you. And
Okay.
then Chris, Lawrence.
Yep.
And
Grandpa
all the workers there.
Yeah, they did a good job, and Grandpa pulled a pretty big shift for you. He did nationals last weekend and came back this weekend and went to 2 different races with you. Yeah. Okay. All right. Good deal. Well, you had a good weekend. What's in store for this coming weekend?
I don't really know.
Back to motocross up at Summersville, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so
Try
too.
to do that too.
So we'll go up to Billy Moorhead's races in Summersville and race at the Canvas track. It's actually located in Canvas with Mountaineer MX Racing. So we'll be back next week with some highlights from that.
Sponsored by A&M Digital Technologies.
There you go. You got it right today. That's good. So as usual, 5 Minutes Outside with Cael. This is Cael. And this show is sponsored and produced by A&M Digital Technologies, Joe and Cena McDonald. So we'll see you next week after some motocrossing, getting back to motocrossing this weekend.
Yep.
All right.